and with the aim of becoming the largest army in Europe. This massive investment has
I can only imagine what 1% of it and then 4% of the country GDP. So recently I got a really hilarious comment. I do not know if I should believe that comment. I'm going to put it up here. This person said, do not bother coming to Poland. We are racist. I don't know if he's trying to pull my legs or if it's actually saying what it is. Please help me down below. Tell me if it's pulling my legs or if it's actually correct. But I choose to believe it's wrong. And here, guys, today we are going to be checking out a beautiful video together. Is Poland becoming a major superpower? I'm going to leave my thoughts to the end of this video.
This video was brought to you by Nebula. Poland's economic rise over the past 30 years or so has been truly meteoric. After regaining independence from the USSR in the late 90s, Poland's GDP per capita has increased tenfold, and there's still space for further growth. In fact, the OECD estimates that the median Polish household will actually be wealthier than their UK counterparts.
Wow. I'm just thinking, how did Poland actually, become as wealthy as they are and as rich as they are? Please fill me with the information down in the comment section, because I'm just thinking, like, how did these people catch up with the GDPR and the likes of it? Please help me down there.
Counterparts before the end of this decade. So in this video, we thought we'd take a look at Poland's impressive economic growth, how this all happened, and whether we should expect it to continue into the future.
Obviously.
To understand quite how impressive Poland's economic rise has been, you need a bit of historical context. And that's because it's worth knowing that as a nation state, Poland has an extremely dark history. Now, that's largely because it sits between Russia and Western Europe, and as a result, it's been invaded many times, with Poland suffering enormously during the Second World War, having been divided up by the Soviets and Nazi Germany.
And recently I got a comment that said Poland was recently, but I know it's not actually like recently, but dated back to the whole world and all other countries. Poland was actually added to the world map recently. And I think by that was why other countries were trying to claim Poland as theirs. I think so.
Poland lost a lot more people than any other EU country in Allied forces during the Second World War, amounting to over 5 million Poles, including some 3 million Polish Jews. After the war, though, Poland was fully subsumed into the Soviet Union, in part because Stalin successfully purged the country of all non-communist Polish nationalists and renamed it the Polish People's Republic. However, after the war, Poland's economy was already in ruins, and it only grew sluggishly under the Soviet Union. In 1999, though, when the communist system finally collapsed, Poland's per capita income was literally a tenth of its developed Western European neighbors. To be more precise, according to World Bank data, Poland's GDP per capita in 1990 was $1,700. For context, the UK, France, Germany, and Italy all had GDP per capita of somewhere between $19,000 and $20,000. In fact, even poorer Western European states were significantly wealthier than the Poles. Portugal, for example, had a GDP per capita of about $8,000. Fortunately for Poland, though, things have changed quite a lot since then. And that's because Poland's economy grew steadily throughout the 90s, reaching a GDP per capita of about $5,000 by the early 2000s. Poland's economic growth then accelerated yet further from 2004 onwards, after they joined the EU, reaching a GDP per capita of $14,000 in 2008, just before the financial crisis. And today, Poland has a GDP per capita of about $19,000, literally 10 times what it was in 1990. And not that far behind Western European countries like Portugal and Greece, which have GDP per capitas of about $24,000 and $20,000 respectively, making it one of the fastest growing economies anywhere in the EU. As such,
Wow.
Poland has
In
become
the
a
world,
paradigm
literally.
case of transitioning away from a centrally planned economic model into a market system and democracy. And this comparison with other similar post-Soviet economies is striking. Take Ukraine, for example. In the 1990s, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Poland and Ukraine both had similar GDP per capita. However, in 2020, before Putin's invasion, Poland's GDP per capita was more than triple that of Ukraine. The Polish economy has also proved remarkably resilient to crises and external shocks. For example, in 2020, after the onset of the pandemic, Poland's unemployment rate, already one of the lowest in the EU, barely budged, and GDP contracted by only 3.5%. Significantly less than the OECD average of 5.5%, and well below the likes of the UK, who experienced a contraction of 9.9%. So, how has this happened? Why has Poland's economy grown so quickly? Well, we can see several reasons behind this. For starters, Poland has been one of the largest recipients of EU cohesion funds, receiving a total of 213 billion euros since it joined the EU in 2004. And it's not just about the volume of money either. Poland has been using this money wisely, investing and developing both its infrastructure and agriculture. The second reason, though, is Poland's membership of the EU single market.
Oh, wow. I'll always say this over and over, and I don't think I can, I'll keep emphasizing on this. Once the government is good, everything just tends to sit right and work properly. In some other country, and in the case of this money being funded into the country, it would have been reversed in the sense that the government will be extracting this money for their own selfish reason, for their own benefit. But seeing these people like the government of Poland actually make structure of which this money is going to, and is actually increasing the country GDPR and even the economical value of the country is wow. Wow. I just see it all like reacting to them. I see why they are how they are and who they are because wow.
Which has allowed for the free flow of capital, goods, services, and people. Situated in the middle of the continent between Western Europe and Russia, with a large, well-educated population and solid consumer base, Poland has become one of the EU's trading hubs. And intra-EU trade now accounts for 74% of Poland's exports. Similarly, 67% of Poland's imports come from other EU member states. The third reason, though, is Poland's diversified economy. As we mentioned earlier, agriculture and manufacturing still play a significant role, but other industries are emerging, such as defense and aerospace, the automotive sector, and information and communication technologies. And the growth of these sectors does partly explain why Poland's economy has proven to be so resilient to external shocks. Take the automotive industry, for example, which is fast becoming one of the key branches of the Polish economy. Approximately 180,000 people now work in the sector, making it the fourth largest industrial employer in the country. And in terms of IT, Poland is already the #1 destination in the Central and Eastern Europe region in terms of research and development projects, driven essentially by international software companies. These new industries then, and their increasing influence in the Polish economy, has allowed them to weather storms that other countries have struggled with, diversifying and spreading their economic heft. Last but not least, though, Poland has also invested heavily in its armed forces, with plans to raise the country's defense spending to 4% of GDP, and with the aim of becoming the largest army in Europe. This massive investment has
I can only imagine what 1% of it and then 4% of the country GDP to military. Oh my goodness, they're actually investing so much to it and the defense system. And I think there's a reason why they are doing that. And oh goodness. Wow.
unsurprisingly led to an influx of large aerospace companies from Western Europe and North America setting up in Poland, with one area of the country now even dubbed Aviation Valley. But even with these 4 impressive feats, how far can Poland go? Could they really overtake more established EU nations such as Portugal or even Spain? Well, no one can know for sure, but there are at least 2 reasons for optimism. Its highly educated labor force and high levels of foreign direct investment. First, let's take a look at the labor market, because the Polish labor force is highly educated. According to the Programme for International Student Assessment, in 2018, Poland was the major European country with the highest overall PISA score, finishing just above the United Kingdom in 2nd place and Germany in 3rd. And the results of this are a huge number of highly qualified Polish developers and IT professionals, which is clearly good for the long-term health of the country's economy. The second reason for optimism, though, is a high level of foreign direct investment. In fact, in 2019, Poland ranked 3rd in Europe in terms of greenfield investments, attracting $21.8 billion of investment. Examples of this include Northvolt's $200 million investment in Gdansk, which will establish the largest factory in Europe for energy storage solutions, creating over 500 well-paid jobs. Other examples include Microsoft's $1 billion digital investment, which includes its first data center in the region, providing cloud services to businesses and governments, or Google's $200 billion data hub in Warsaw. Obviously, all of this should be taken with a pinch of salt. No one knows how this will pan out, and the last few years have shown us that economic forecasting is definitely more of an art than a science. Nonetheless, Poland's fundamentals look good, and it's at least possible that they end up converging with their Western European neighbors sometime soon. But Poland isn't the only country underestimated and under-discussed. In fact, there are fascinating places all over the world which you maybe have never even heard of. So, our friends over at Wendover Productions have a whole series where they dive into how and why some of the world's most remote settlements exist. From remote communities in the middle of Australia to why one of Italy's most visited places is dying. That series, Extremities, is exclusively available on Nebula, the streaming service that we're building with a bunch of our creator friends, many of whom you likely already know and love. And if you sign up to Nebula, you'll find all of our videos ad-free and occasionally before they're even released on YouTube. On top of that, you'll also find a whole bunch of TLDR explainers available exclusively on Nebula, plus an extended version of our show, The Daily Briefing, every single weekday. As I say though, there's more than just TLDR on Nebula. There's a whole bunch of other original series that we know you'll love, like Real Life Law's incredible modern conflicts, which breaks down contemporary disputes around the world, Neo's Underexposure, which runs through contentious and controversial topics you wish you'd always know more about, and of course, Extremities. All of these things are exclusively available on Nebula, just like our extended daily briefing. £1. We'll see.
Nebula. Oh my goodness. This is actually seeing the growth and how far they've come is actually very amusing. I would say they are actually doing well, and they actually think so well for themselves, and it's a great thing because the investment they are doing, and most of these things is actually long term. It's not a short term goal. It's very futuristic, and for generations to come, people to come, even the military investments right now. I know definitely there's a huge reason for that, because they've gone through a lot of time, and despite the world looking like it's at peace and rest, they still need to invest in that part of it to be able to defend her citizen as they always do. And looking at the investment they've done so far, the Microsoft, the Google, and the likes of them, is actually very amusing, because I recently did a reaction to 7 misconceptions about Poland, and I literally watched an American talk so well about Poland that it's very civilized and very modern. And reacting to this video, I just get to believe, though I believe what you're saying, but I just get to see the clearer picture and clearer view from where she was coming from. And this is actually so awesome to see, and to see they have each other at heart. The government is actually working so good. Please let me know if because I know media has a way of putting it out there for people saying this government is working so fine, it's working so good. But I think I'm going to totally believe all of this government in the comment section. If you're a Poland watching me right now, let me know if your government is actually doing well and doing right for you guys down below. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys on my next one. Do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel. I love you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and in regards to what I asked in my intro, I actually do not know if it's correct or wrong. Please help me with that as well down below. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.